as you can see, I'm on the bench right now. I am on the bench right now, sitting on my bench. It's just easier to me to do it. I don't get good reception in my chamber, so I'm out here on my bench now. So I preside over County Court 12. It's a misdemeanor criminal bench, and I also preside over the mental health court. And the mental health court is a specialty court here in Bexar County, San Antonio, Texas. Now, I was going to share documents. I don't know if my coordinator got a chance to get you. He was going to send it to you, Ms. Brown, the documents. So he was doing that. I don't know if he actually got it to you, but the three things I'm going to share about what concerning mental health in the justice system, it was going to be, and I was going to talk about in Bexar County, the three judges that really deal with mental health. I'm going to give a brief overview of my mental health court. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is the 1622 process here in Bexar County, which really applies to all counties in Bexar County. Okay. So you guys ready? All right. So, and the mental health in the justice system here in Bexar County, San Antonio, Texas is, in Bexar County, we have three judges. Now, San Antonio is a city of about 1.9 million people. So we have 15 county courts, quite a bit of county courts. So in our court system, we have three judges that deal with mental health. And that is Judge Andrew Carruthers. He deals with competency hearings. We all know what that is when someone is incompetent or competent to stand trial, right? Then we have Judge Oscar Kazin. He deals with civil commitments. Civil commitments are when someone has really decomposed, deteriorated mentally to the point that the family wants to have them civilly committed, oftentimes, many times against their will. So that was a civil commitment. And I preside over the mental health court. The difference between the other two and me is that I'm the only court where a defendant has to come before me and say that he wants to enter my court. It's completely voluntary. He has to say on the record that he wants to enter my mental health court. He wants his case. If it's in any of the other 15 courts, he wants his case to be transferred to my court, to be put on the mental health court docket so that I can deal with them. And he has to actually say that on the record. So I cannot take people that are IDD because that's a fixed condition. So that people in the community often get it confused because they'll hear Judge Carruthers, they'll hear me, and they get all the, and I get it. It can be so confusing to the public. And when I speak about it, I like to explain to the community about the three different judges that do deal with mental health. And I'm sure that's similar to wherever in America that you'll have judges that deal with, because the civil commitments is actually under the probate judge, the guardianships, but that's still mental health. And Judge Carruthers is nothing like when I'm trying to help someone get back on their feet in life. It's just the defense attorney saying that this person is incompetent to stand trial, as opposed to my court, the mental health court, where someone enters the judiciary and they have a mental health issue. And how do we go forward? How do we treat this individual that has a mental health problem? They need special help. Now, I don't know the special courts. I'm going to give a small, quick overview because I wanted to talk about three things. There was a lot to get in, for me to talk about these three issues, and each one in itself can be like an hour or two, or even a whole day seminar. But I want to give each of you guys a quick breakdown of the three different mental health things I deal with. So I'm going to give a quick overview talking about the specialty courts. Now, in Bexar County, there are 14 specialty courts. So can I see, are you guys familiar with specialty courts? Do y'all have those in y'all judicial system there? Y'all know what specialty treatment courts are? Does anyone? Y'all even heard that term, specialty courts, treatment courts, drug courts? We use those terms interchangeably, but they're the same thing. Drug court, treatment court, specialty courts, all the same thing. And it's just, I'm dating myself when I say that back in the 90s, late 80s to early 90s, the sentiment in America was lock them up longer. It's criminals, build more prisons, longer prison sentences. That was the sentiment back then. You would often hear, politicians saying, I'm for hard on these criminals, lock them up, build more prisons. Well, the first specialty court came about in 1989 in Florida, and it was a law professor. It's just not working. You can send someone away that has a drug treatment, and they're going to come back 6 years, 5 years, they're still going to have that heroin problem. So it was just this cycling in and out of the court system. It was just, nothing was changing. And I don't care how long you send someone away, if you don't get that person proper treatment, therapeutic treatment, they're going to come back out doing the same thing. So they thought of this program, a specialty court, someone that enters the judiciary with a special problem like drugs or alcohol. Why don't we treat that person in a holistic way, therapeutically, deal with them? so that we get them back on their feet and we won't see them in the judicial system again. It's to really, truly to lessen recidivism. So that's 1989, right? Fast forward to Bexar County in around 2000, the first specialty court was introduced in Bexar County, and that was the misdemeanor drug court. And I was actually one of the defense attorneys, because these specialty courts, now I'm a judge, I'm not a clinician. So these specialty courts have a whole team, and this team consists of many stakeholders in the community. You have the judge, you must have a defense attorney, you have to have an ADA. So the district attorney has to, of course, to be on board with these, because these are his cases. We have case managers, we have, let's say, a police officer, probation officer, doctors that treat people, clinicians that deal with substance abuse and mental health. So on my mental health team, I have anywhere between 15 and 20 people. So in Bexar County, we now have, as of 2021, we have 14 specialty courts. We have 2 veterans courts. We have a felony one, we have a misdemeanor one. We have my misdemeanor mental health court. We have a felony mental health. It's a pretrial diversion. It's just gotten off its feet during COVID, so it's very new. We have Esperanza dealing with prostitution and human trafficking. We have felony drug and misdemeanor drug. We have, we even have a CPS one, dealing with families that are in CPS. Their cases can be shortened so much quicker to get them out. It is a true drug court, specialty court. We even have juvenile. So altogether 14, right? So when I took the bench in 2018, I said to all these specialty court presiding judges, why don't we gather together and unite and address issues that deal with the specialty courts going forward. So we formed the coalition, and we call it the Bexar County Specialty Courts Coalition. And I chair that coalition. And what I did was I made a resource book, and I was hoping that Ms. Brown, that we're going to give you a PDF, you guys a PDF copy of that resource book. It has an overview of all the 14 judges that preside over these treatment specialty courts, and you tell the breakdown, the criteria, how to get into one, what it's about, what is the reason. And I just purely use it as a resource guide for the community, because I want the community to know that these programs exist in Bexar County, that if someone enters the judicial system with the mental health issue, there is help for them. What do we do with a veteran that has served this country well, and now he's in the judiciary? He has PTSD, he's hitting his wife, he's on drugs. Do we send that person to prison for 10 years? Or do we really try to help that person get back on their feet? Because remember, it's about recidivism. We're trying to lessen recidivism, because the cycling in and out, that's not helping society. That's not helping the individual. It's actually truly costing society a lot more money to have someone cycling in and out. I've seen, no exaggeration, one defendant had 25 cases of criminal mischief. That means that he gets arrested, he's down at the local convenience store, harassing people for money, he's mental health issues, probably homeless, substance abuse. The clerk gets tired of telling him to go away. He calls the cop, he gets arrested, goes to jail. The defense attorney takes him to jail court. He's in jail. He gets let out, 2-day jail sanction. He's back out on the street doing the same thing over and over and over. And I'll say to the young ADAs, the young defense attorneys before me, look, we can do this 2-day jail sanction or whatever, a 2-day jail judgment satisfied. But until this individual gets some true help, he's just going to keep cycling and costing everyone money. This person is homeless. He needs true help. Now, this is a quick overview of the mental health court. I like to call it a wraparound approach, right? So when some lady wants to enter they're in the judicial system, and they really want, that is the PDF copy of the book, and they want help. They truly want help. We call it the wraparound approach, because all that the person has to do, the defense attorney, is send that person over to my court to be evaluated for the mental health court. It doesn't even have to be that person has ever been truly diagnosed. We try to make it as easy as possible. So a defense attorney could send them to my court, the judge, the ADA, a family member, the defendant himself. And once he gets transferred to my court, we get the person properly diagnosed. We have doctors, we have them seen, we get them on treatment, we get them properly medicated, and then they're brought before me, and they take a plea to get properly put onto the mental health docket. And when they're in the mental health court, this program lasts 12 months. And so I call it a wraparound approach because often there is a dual diagnosis of substance abuse. So we're doing an evaluation to see what is the level of substance abuse. Do they need inpatient? Do they just need AA? Do they need outpatient? What is, so we get that properly situated. Then we start the group counseling, the individual counseling. If they are homeless, we try to get them, we start the search, we put them in housing. If they need SSI help, if they need the DDT forms, it's a lot that we do, because I like to say society is better off when you are where you should be in life. Society doesn't benefit if you're not where you should be in the right place. Your family benefits, you benefits, and society benefits. So this program lasts 12 months. And if they successfully complete this program, and I admit it's very intensive, it was designed to be that way. These are high risk, high needs. We don't want people that were going to do well on probation anyway, because those people, if this program is so intensive that if we get someone that's moderate that was going to do well on probation anyway, data has shown that it actually hurts them. So we want the high risk, high needs individuals to go into these programs, and the level of intensity is what their level of care needs at that time. So if they successfully complete this program, this mental health court, any of these specialty courts, then they get, their cases are often dismissed. Then we have a whole big graduation ceremony, and my success rate is awesome. It is like 80%, that I don't see this person back in the judicial system within the next 3 years, the next 5 years. That's the level. So in the next 3 years, it's about 75%. The next 5 years, it could be 80%. And I consider that a great success as to compare to normal probation, that the level of intensity that we get, that we help them. And it is a lot of work, because remember, I am just a regular judge. I do jury trials, I do everything. These specialty courts, these treatment courts are dockets, if you will. I call my docket on a Monday afternoon. So I'll give you a day in the life of how I would work this. At 1 o'clock, all the team, we used to be in person, we're now on Zoom. They'll come into the Zoom, and everyone that's going to be on that docket, every participant that's going to be on that docket that day, we staff every case, and everybody on the team has an input from the probation officer, from the case manager, from the ADA, the defense attorney. We're all talking, how is this person doing? Are they doing great? And these programs this is a 5-phase program, meaning that from the 12 months are broken into 5 months. So the first 30 days, all we want that participant to do is to be honest and show up for their appointments. We're not even addressing the substance abuse yet, because we're just trying to get them stabilized. So if they can just be honest and show up to their appointments, in 30 days, we promote them to phase 2. So with each successive phase, we expect a little bit more of them. And by the time they're to phase 5, they're a veteran in the program, and they're on their way to graduation. And we don't really, at this point, we should not be having any, positive UAs or positive tests. Because one thing I should have said to the beginning, for this program, it's 12 months long. What each and every participant has to do is they have to call a UA call line, and UA stands for urinalysis, P-test. They have to call that. They have to call that UA call line 365 days, that whole entire year. And I do me Christmas morning, Easter morning, their birthday, and I call it the low-hanging fruit, because they know that's what they have to do. So when they call that number, it'll randomly select if they need to go in a UA that day. And so that's the part about responsibility and keeping them on track, because a lot of times it's chaos in their lives. And this is something that we're teaching you to, this is a responsibility. This is your responsibility. This is stability in your life, to call this UA call line every single day. So, and at first, they're missing the days a lot, but as it goes on, they get the hang of it. And as you can imagine, trying to get them to understand what this program is all about, it's not punitive. We don't seek to punish you. Everything that I'm doing for you is to get you where you want to be. Now, like I'll tell them, honesty is the bedrock, and seeing me on a regular basis, like they may see me once a week as opposed to regular probation once every month or once every other month. They're seeing me like, as soon as we get a positive drug, they're right back in front of me like the next day, explaining themselves. Why did you test positive for alcohol? Why did you test positive for drugs? And, the excuses I've heard them all, oh, Judge, it was, beer in my beer battered French fries or beer battered fish. And I'm like, oh, boy, I've never heard that before. They're explaining themselves immediately to me. And that one-on-one with me, like I'm not in my robe, I'm sitting on a table around them, and that encourages them to open up, be honest, let's have a chat about this. Because it takes a while for them to kind of lean in to understand this program is not punitive. I don't want to send you to jail. I don't want to punish you. I'm doing therapeutic justice with you. I'm trying to get you where you need to be in society, so I'll never see you in the judicial system again. And it takes about 3 or 4 months, and then, and I'll say, I'll never punish you for admitting that you did cocaine. Just be honest with me, so then the team knows what direction to go in. And sometimes they'll skip the test, they'll try to lie their way out of it. I didn't know, like honesty, honesty, honesty. That's what we want. And when they get that, when it starts clicking with them, you can just see the flip around, right? That, you guys really want this team. I'll tell them all the time, this team is here for you. You're not here for us. You're not doing us favors. We're all here. Use us. Use the tools that you're going to get from this team, because you're going to be with me for a year. When the year is up, what will you have said that you took from this year that you spent with Judge Huff? Like, use all the tools that we're offering you, because life is going to squeeze you. It's going to squeeze us all. When you get squeezed, what is going to come out of you? Are you going to be able to pull out the tools that you've learned from this team, that the year that you've been with us? And I truly get very well with them. When they first appear before me, I'll say to them without knowing anything about them, you ready for the chaos to stop? And they know what I'm talking about, because they're living the chaos. You ready for, you have 10 prostitution cases. You've been a heroin addict for 16 years. You ready for the chaos to stop? And I'll get this complaint from the defense attorneys. They'll often say to me, your program is too long. My guy can do 3 days in jail and be done. I'm like, that's true, but your guy will be back in jail next week. Who is going to really help your guy get where he needs to be in society, that he's stable? He needs peace. And I'll say to them, you deserve peace. You want peace, right? Help yourself get peace. We're here because we're in a relationship now. This is a relationship, the team and you. I need you guys to be in this relationship with me, because I can't do it for you. I can open that door, but you got to walk through it. And when I'm talking like that to them, I think it starts to click. They're understanding what I'm saying, that this whole program is not punitive. We're truly here to help you. We want you to get back on your feet. We want you to be where you want to be. And that's the whole point of it. Honesty, the bedrock of it. And that's what my mental health, that's what the special court is about. And I'm sure wherever you guys live, you look into it, you'll see that you guys have these special courts in your city, wherever you are in your judicial system. And these programs are truly intensive. And I make no bones about it. I want you to know up front, this is a hard program. Can you do it? Because you know what? Just because it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means the rewards are going to be greater. So are you up for it? And I throw that challenge out. I can do it, Judge. All right, let's get to work. Because I'm telling them, I don't want it to be any surprise. I don't want it to be any surprises from the family, from the defense attorneys, from the individual. This program is hard, but it just means that something that's great is going to come out of all this hard work. And I'll say, tell me something that's worthwhile having in life that is not hard to it. Having a baby, a good marriage, getting a law degree, getting a doctorate. Those are hard things. So this generation like say, well, it's hard. Well, yes, it's hard. It was designed to be that way. That's what I'm saying to you. It is designed, and I'll tell the defense attorneys too. I don't beg anybody to put their clients, but I'll tell you what, I'll see your client back in the judicial system again until you finally, you're an attorney and you're a counselor at law. At some point, you're going to have that come to Jesus talk with your client. Maybe after 8 DWIs, you need some help here. Just have it. See what they say. Maybe they're ready for it. So that was the first one was the 3 judges of the Bexar County. The second one was just that overview I just gave you of the mental health court that I preside over. And the third one, and how am I for time, you guys? I know I have an hour here, and I know I was late coming in. Am I okay for time? Do I have
you're doing great.
Okay, great. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, and then I'll try to save a little time to ask, because I know you guys probably got a ton of questions, is that in Texas, we have something called the 1622 process, right? This process is that it was started, it's been going on for a while now. I took the bench in 2019, and I would see these red envelopes. I didn't know what they were about. I really dug in and started finding out what these envelopes are about. And what they are is that everyone, and it's not just for Bexar County, it's every county in Texas. Anyone that gets arrested, and this again is for talking about mental health in the justice system, okay? I'm talking about a completely different thing now, just another aspect. And I actually chair the 1622 committee in Bexar County. I'm a busy person over here, you guys. So I take all this on because so this is the 1622 process I'm talking about. What is it? What does it? Who does it apply to? What is the purpose? So the 1622 process is that anyone in Bexar County that gets arrested for a crime that's higher than a class B misdemeanor, they have to be evaluated for mental health issues. Now, I'm telling you, the process is long. So this is kind of like an intersection of it. It's went in sideways. But what it is that the jailer will ask you a series of questions. If a red flag pops up, then your case goes before the MAG judge, and they actually order a mental health report to be generated by the clinicians over there. And the clinicians at the Bexar County Jail, they're serviced through, I think, the University Health System. So we have 9 clinicians. So these clinicians will ask the defendant a series of questions, and they'll say, flag goes up, I have suicidal ideologies, I feel like killing myself, I think I'm bipolar. And we get these dings, then immediately that person is screened for a mental health interview. It's just a 1-page paper, but when it's done, it cycles all the way through the system until it actually reaches their court file. So this is kind of like a map to how it's done. And when that report gets to the file, it really goes to all the stakeholders, meaning it gets to the judge, the DA's office, the defense attorney, the district clerk's office, and the county clerk. And the problem, the disconnect in Bexar County was that none of the defense attorneys or many of the ADAs even knew that this was going on, because if this report is generated for a defense attorney to use in defending his client, he needs to know that at some point his client was interviewed and he red flags were thrown up that this person has mental health issues, and that report is generated. It goes into the file, and it was not getting to the defense attorney. They were not able to find it in e-discovery. And so since COVID, it's been a year and a half, we've been tracking this system to see where are the shortfalls, where are the gaps, what is happening here? Why aren't the defense attorneys or the ADAs getting these reports? Because it doesn't violate HIPAA at all. It is just a report that's generated to alert the defense attorney to what is going on. Because once they get this report, then they can use it competency, talking about Judge Carruthers. They can use it to even perhaps go into my mental health court. It's whatever. Some of the defense attorneys choose to do nothing with it. And I'll often say to them, hey, when they come before me, were you aware that your client has a red envelope in his file, meaning that a mental health report was generated for this client? And some of them would say no, and some of them would say yes. But I'm hoping that we get to the point that all the defense attorneys are aware that this has been done. Now, the public doesn't even know that. I've talked to a lot of people in the public that, did you not know this? Now, the Sandra Bland Act is a part of this, because it used to be when someone got arrested, it would be 72 hours before the jail would do anything. But now they have to do it within 12 hours of being arrested, because it's quick. Like if you can see it, I can send a better copy of it, you guys. So I've been on the bench for about 2.5 years, and I've been doing a lot over here with mental health. So the Texas Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals invited me to be on the Judicial Commission on Mental Health. And they're the overseeing body in the state of Texas that they invited me to be on. I'm a commissioner for the mental health court for the state of Texas. And we're actually have a conference, a summit coming up in October. And I relish it, because the more I know, the better I can serve the people that come before me, better I can serve Bexar County. So this 1622 process, I really dug in, I really learned the law. So now I can present on it. I presented on it at a nuts and bolts not too long ago to the defense attorneys and to the ADAs, exactly what this 1622 process. It's a little bit, I can present on that for like 2 hours. So I'm giving you guys a little snippet. I just want you guys to know that this is a process, not just for Bexar County, but for every county in the state of Texas, that everybody that gets arrested with a class B or higher misdemeanor, all the way up to felony, have to be interviewed to see if there are any mental health issues that exist. It's when you learn about it, so this whole year we've been filling in the gaps, understanding it, really trying to streamline it. And come January, we're going to start having seminars to really educate the ADAs and defense attorneys exactly what the 1622 process is. It's a lot, and I'll give you guys a little snippet, but these are the three of the things that I really want to just present on in Bexar County about mental health in the justice system. All right, I'll stop there and I'll take questions. I know I loaded you guys with a lot of information. So questions?
Judge Huff, thank you so much. Again, I'm so sorry that Eastern time wasn't caught, but if you have a little bit more you have to share, I know you breezed through it. You do still have time, ma'am. You have time if you have, or if you want us to show this booklet that you also sent. Is there anything else you want to do?
No, that booklet is that is a resource. Like it's actually a booklet I had made, and I handed out into the community. I've handed out 5,000 of these booklets, and it just really, which you guys probably already guessed about me, I am just about educating the community. I know I'm a judge, but to me, what is it good at having all these programs if the public doesn't know about them? What is it good at having a mental health court if someone enters the judiciary and they don't even know that it's a mental health court? And sometimes the defense attorneys don't know. And sometimes veterans don't know that they're a veterans court and we're in Military City, USA. I mean, I tell the other judges on the bench, we have got to educate the public about these programs. These are taxpayer-supported entities. It is our duty, I feel, to tell the public that these programs exist. We can have the best programs in the world, but if no one knows, it's all for naught, right? And so how many people, like I'm asking you guys, how many of you guys knew about specialty court or that this was down here at the courthouse? And these programs have been up and running for 20 years. And again, I am a new judge. I'm looking through the eyes of a new judge. Like, why aren't we telling the people in the community about these programs? They deserve to know. The courthouses are taxpayer-supported entities, like I said. Anyway, so that's the purpose. I'll ask questions. I love to talk. My kids will tell you that. Love to talk. And if you have any questions that you want to ask of a judge, I'm here to answer right now.
Judge Huff, I have a question.
Okay.
First of all, thank you so much for this presentation and really highlight something that I know I didn't know a whole lot about. I'm a mental health professional. And so I'm curious, just as we think about systemic change within our systems, I'm curious from your perspective as a judge, because it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of great work in that area. What are some pieces that you think we still need to work on in terms of systemic change within our court system?
Well, I mean, mental health is one of the biggest, like, who do you think is the biggest mental health provider in the state of Texas? Who do you guys think? Who do you guys think is the biggest mental health provider in the state of Texas? I'll tell you, it's the Harris County Jail, and that is Houston, because it is over 60% of the people I sit on that thing that enter the judiciary have mental health issues. The jails are the ones that are taking care of them, because you guys know that they shut down so many mental health facilities, like back in the 70s. Now it's the jail. It's literally the jail. The police officers that are encountering people with mental health, they're not trained to do that. Like, how are we as a society going to treat, do we want to allocate funds to that? That's not, the cops didn't sign up for that. They're not clinicians, they're cops. So they're encountering people that have mental health illnesses on the street, and how are they to work those out? Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of the documentary Ernie and Joe. I think it's playing on HBO right now. Those two cops are in Bexar County. So I think Bexar County, San Antonio is really on the forefront of that. This unit that McManus has got up and running, that so many cops are in, and they send these cops out whenever they get one of these mental health calls. Who's going to go out there? They don't even have guns, because you don't need a gun. That's not what it's about. You know, the someone that has a mental health, they're the least likely to harm someone. They're more likely to harm themselves than anyone in the community. I mean, those are the gaps that I would like to see. Like, how do we, like, even in that 1622 process, all the stakeholders on the same page in dealing with so many people that we get with mental health illness in the judiciary? How are we as a society treating this? How are we, just like I'm saying to you guys, I'm trying to educate that there is even a mental health program at the court. Like, if you have, it just seems to be this gap that we have these things, and And there are already a lot of great programs running, but again, if no one knows, it's all for naught. If we're not telling people about these programs, that they exist, that this 1622 process, that mental health courts are down here. And I can tell you one thing, that all those 14 special courts, the felony one, the drug court, the CPS, the one thing that goes through every last one of those treatment courts is mental health. It's always like usually a dual diagnosis. The veteran has PTSD. That's the mental health. You know, you can't tell me that someone has 10 prostitution cases that's been doing heroin for 16 years. Of course, that person has trauma. There's mental health, and that person is not in the mental health court. That individual's in the Esperanza prostitution, mental health again. You know, as a society, that's going through every last. It's just affecting us all as a society, right? I hope I answered did I answer your question? Did I? I mean, those are some of the gaps that I see as a judge, like wanting just to educate more the defense attorneys more on when they're representing people. Are you looking for these signs? Do you understand what you're dealing with? Even if you saw the signs, do you care enough to get this person screened for the mental health court? Do you want to just run through this, or do you really care to get help for this person? I can't dictate it, because everyone defends their client that's their client to do with. But I would hope that as a society, we can get to that one day, that these defense attorneys, the ADAs, the district attorney's office, that this is a big issue in our court system. And as a society, what are we doing? Are we all coming together to unite to help? And this is a huge problem in the mental health and the judiciary.
Judge Huff, you almost just made me weepy, because whenever you talk about that Esperanza Court, of course, we know that means hope. And I, as a sexual assault advocate, I've spoken with so many people who were more terrified of the police than they were their pimps or their johns, because the police had the power to lock them up or abuse them. And then they said, they just throw me in prison. They don't care about me if they don't abuse me themselves. And to know that an Esperanza Court it even exists, like, to me, it means a lot that at least this court, this county has it. And I hope that those exist, because it's one thing to have something be outlawed, right? Like drugs are illegal, prostitution is illegal. And some people, like you said, traffic victims involuntarily can be thrust into both of those worlds, and they don't even have the law to protect them. And I'm happy to know that there is at least a court that cares. Hopefully their defense attorney lets them know. Because even people who weren't trafficked into that life normally didn't voluntarily get into it, as we know. No little girl at 5 says, I want to be a prostitute when I get older. Like, that's just not really a thing.
It never goes down like that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just saying I'm happy to know it exists. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
The one thing I regret, though, is that the Esperanza Court is a felony level, but prostitution cases start off as misdemeanors, and it gradually gets enhanced to a felony. So I don't know why, for the love of God, then they started off as a misdemeanor. So by the time you have 3 or 4, you can deal with it before they wait till you get enough. Okay, now it's a felony. Now we can deal with it. Like, it should have started like my misdemeanor. This mental health court is misdemeanor level. It's not. We just introduced the felony one. It's not a true special court. It's more of a pretrial diversion program. But when something like starts off small and then you gradually get it up to a felony, I mean, you would think like, well, let's stop these prostitutions when she has 2 or 3, not when she has 9 or 10, right? So, I mean, there is a judge that has stated to me they would love to get, because we often have like a mental health court that's misdemeanor and felony. We have a drug court that's misdemeanor. We have one that's felony. I don't see why we couldn't have a misdemeanor, Esperanza Court and a felony Esperanza Court, because that's where it begins. We shouldn't wait till it graduates to the felony, and then now we put them in the court to help them, to deal with it. But it's a really good program. It really is. I had a friend that she was a defense attorney, and she worked a lot with it. I mean, it's men and women. It's both. Our minds get stuck. We were having a seminar, and we need testimonials. In our seminars, we'll have testimony. We'll often bring in someone from the participants to let the audience know, how does these programs help you? And the Esperanza Court sent a man. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't thought, okay, yes, that's true. Men could be, trafficked too, right? So our minds should be stuck that way. It goes both ways. Men and women could be in the Esperanza Court. I think they have to have I know they have to have a prostitution case, and I can't remember how many, but since it's a felony, I guess it would have to be 3 or more, which again, I wish it would start at the misdemeanor level. And the latest specialty court in Bexar County, San Antonio, is the domestic violence court. That's Judge Rosie Gonzalez here in town. And that court is so awesome because it is a court of first impression, meaning that there's no other court like it in America. We went to DC. We had a big conference there in August, meaning that she treats the perpetrator. How many programs do you know that treat the perpetrator, the person that's beating someone up? Because her rationale is, unless we break this cycle, that person is often traumatized himself or herself. They're hurt people, right? So unless you break that cycle, who's going to ever break it? Because we have lots of programs that treat the victim. And believe me, she got a lot of pushback in the community. You know, you're helping criminals, you're helping, these, and I'm saying, well, don't you want this person? He or she is still in our society. They're going to be in our society. They need just as much help as the victim because they are just doing learned behavior that they were traumatized, they were beat, and they're keeping the cycle going. And she just had her first graduation. It wasn't a dry tear. I mean, I couldn't believe, I was just so overwhelmed that she only had 4. The program is really new. It's just been up for a year, but it was 2 men and 2 women. And her population of people were so different from my population of mental health that the people that go into her program was like a financial advisor. It was a lady that was working on her PhD. And these are the people that are hitting other people or assaulting people. But the guy that was the financial advisor, when he gave his testimonial, it was just so awesome that no one had ever explained to him what he learned through the counseling and it was just so, I mean, he said he wanted to come back and get paid forward by working in this program because he can now know how to love his wife and children better, having gone through this 12-month program. You guys, it was awesome because it's just a court. Because I said to Judge Rosie, how did you ever think of this, right? She's like, someone has to help those traumatized people too. And as a society, everyone wants to say, no, they're the bad guys, but really they need help too, right? Or that cycle of violence is just going to keep going. It really is.
That's good. I'm so glad you brought up Judge Rosie because you're right, there wasn't a dry eye. I put a question in here so I wouldn't forget, but do you know of any stats related to those who have expressed thoughts of suicide and then once they come out of the mental health court program, like testify that, they now have hope and like basically any direct correlation to thoughts of suicide or attempts of suicide compared to, I guess, the other side of hope? Yeah,
I don't have stats on that, but I can tell you that since I've been the mental health court judge, I've had 2. And that was like one before we had pled him in. He was still in jail and he got released and he had not even had his first court date with me. And he overdosed. And his mom says suicide. He killed himself really because he overdosed. Before he even had one, as soon as he got released, he just went and did drugs. They said that's the most dangerous part, right? Because your body has been without drugs and then say for however long he was in jail, 30 days. And then as soon as he gets out, that big, you overload and that's when your overdose occurred. And that's what happened. And it was another one. Now, they will express to me, and they will express to the case managers how they're feeling. And so many will say to me that the program gave them hope, that they didn't think anyone cared. They are happy to hear it because even though they call me stern but loving, even though I was very stern with them, they know that everything that I was doing for them was pushing them in the direction of helping them. So I mean, I don't have the stats of saying like how many, and that would be a good statistic to get to that came with suicide ideologies, and now because having gone through this program, they have hope. But I would say, if you ever come to our graduation ceremonies and hear the testimonies, you would completely understand. And it's a hard program, and it takes a while to get them to understand what we're trying to do. But once we do, that hope is there because you value things, you value something that you had to work hard to get to, right? And even if we're saying that you're loved, you don't have to kill yourself. Somebody here loves you. People are you will be missed. Even if just me saying that to them, like I'll explain all the time about mental health, and that is that our eliminating the stigma, and the breaking the silence that's our motto over here. Just eliminating that stigma. And I'll say this, it's a hard pill to swallow for an 18-year-old to be told that their diagnosis is bipolar, they have to take medication for the rest of their life. I don't, they're 18, they don't want to hear that. But me saying to them, it's nothing to be ashamed of. You have diabetes, you can take medication. You, high blood pressure, you break an arm. What's the difference? Something's wrong with your head. You just need medication for it. Society puts that stigma on. I'm not putting that stigma on. I want you to understand there's no shame in that at all. And I say that over and over and over because I want them to keep, and some of them will say, thank you, Judge, for saying that to me, because I was thinking that exact thing. That is nothing to be ashamed of, over and over and over. And coming into the mental health court, I didn't even want to say, and I told the team, we can't be ashamed to say it if we're going to tell them that it's nothing to be ashamed of. We just have to say it. You have a mental health, you have bipolar, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Normalize it. Don't say it in hushed tones, normalize it so that they're taking our lead, that we don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. I have bipolar. I'm taking medication for it. I'm a lot better for it. Then the more we normalize it as, the team, the more they're normalized. They're believing what we say.
That's right, Judge. That's right. Thank you. All right. I just want to see, does anybody else have any questions for the Honorable Judge Yolanda Huff? You just jumped right in. I didn't even get to read my bio or nothing. I was like, okay, cool. Let me go get my pen.
You can read the bio now. Yeah, feel free to read the bio. I was so alarmed.
I just want to say thank you, but I am happy to read that bio real quick while people have a moment to get any questions that they may have. And then if not, we'll just go ahead and shut it down and end this wonderful week with your amazing presentation. But I do think that you deserve the honor of your whole bio being read. So I'm going to do that real quick, okay? All right, so Judge Huff presides over County Court 12 and the Mental Health Court in San Antonio, Texas. Before running for judge in 2018, she was a solo practitioner in Bexar County for 22 years. In 22 years of experience, she handled criminal, child protective services, and personal injury cases. Huff is a mother of 3 and donates her time and money to several worthwhile organizations. She is a board member for YTIA, which is Youth Transitioning into Adulthood. And this worthy nonprofit helps foster kids who are leaving the foster care system. She is also a member of CCAA, which is Children's Court Adult Association, and she has served twice as president for the San Antonio Black Lawyers Association. She's also served 12 years on the advisory board for the Dispute Resolution Center Mediation, and she's been a member of the San Antonio Criminal Defense Lawyers Association and was staff attorney for the Felony Drug Court for 2 years. Whew, so that much needed treatment court works with defendants who has those substance abuse issues. Judge Huff also has been asked to serve on the board of the nonprofit Driving Single Parents, which gives cars to needy and deserving single parents. She's also a member of the NAACP for the past 3 years and was recognized as Outstanding Woman by NAACP in 2019. Judge Huff also serves as the Bexar County Domestic Violence Committee and the Bexar County 16.22 Progress Committee. Wrapping up, one of Huff's greatest accomplishments since taking the bench on 1 January 2019 has been founding the Bexar County Specialty Court Coalition. She chairs this coalition with the goal to educate the community about specialty courts. And in 2020, she was awarded Bexar County Pioneer Award by the Bexar County Small Business and Entrepreneur Department. Most recently, in 2021, Judge Huff was invited to the Supreme Court of Texas and the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals to serve on the Judicial Commission on Mental Health. Lastly, in her spare time, which I don't believe she has it, she enjoys reading, spending time with family, hiking in the state and national parks, and running marathons, which I wanted to make sure and get in because our own Dr. Ratliff, she turned off her video, but she is like marathon queen. There she is. You see all those medals back there,
I
Judge?
don't get to do them anymore. I've done so many. Like I used to do them all the time. I would bug my kids, come watch me cross the. But on the bench, that's just like what I only think I've done 5K. I want to get back to marathon, and I really do love hiking. You guys, we go to Yellowstone. We just went to Yosemite in March. You know, during COVID, it was so not many people there because of COVID, right? And it snowed there. But my son and I loved it, right? So we love national park, love hiking. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll see all the hiking things I do all over. But no, that was just exhausting listening to all the things I'm doing.
Right.
I was a single mom going to law school. My kids are older. My youngest is a teenager. He's in college. So that's the only reason I can do most of these things now, because they're older. My kids are older. But yeah, I'm out there in the community. I believe, and I'll tell my kids, there's nothing special about me. If I can do it, you can do it. And I believe that within everything in me. If I can do it, you can do it. There is nothing special about me. And I tell the participants that all the time. If you can dream it, you can definitely achieve it.
I love it. I love that message. I also want to just, while I wait to see if any more questions come in, I want to just personally thank you. What I was saying while I was panicking, trying to get a hold of you, was that your heart is not behind the bench only. It's also out in the community. And almost every event I go to, I mean, you were at our ATC table talk with Chief Hicks, mentor. I'm like, what? Judge
Oh my
here
God.
too. It's like everywhere I go, there you are, because you're always there for the community, right?
It really truly is.
So
if anybody
I just
invites
wanna-
me to anything, if I have the time, I go. If I have the time, I go. Like in Texas, judges are elected. And so I feel that if I'm in the community asking people to vote for me, then who am I to refuse if someone wants me to come speak at something or come show up? If I have the time, I go. I just have a servant's heart. And I believe, what does a servant do? They serve. And I just enjoy it. It's not hard work for me when you're enjoying it, right? I really enjoy it. I just have this urgency to help women, to help, I don't know, I say women because I'm a woman, like to reach their full potential. Like, you can do this. I just love helping my fellow sisters. If I can do this, everyone on this Zoom can do this. There is nothing special about me. It's everyone listening to me right now. If I can do this, believe me when I say you can do this too. There is nothing special about me at all. You just heard that, but it's truly nothing. Do you guys believe me when I'm saying this?
I personally
Right?
think you're special, but I get the message. I get the message.
You can do this too. There's nothing special about me that's doing this, because I tell my children that. I tell my sons, my son's friends will say, how did you become a lawyer? And I'll say, there's nothing special about me. My older son, Mom, stop telling everyone that. Like, there's nothing special about me. If they want to be a lawyer, they can be a lawyer. It's what you set your mind to and what you think you can achieve. And if you set your mind to it, you can do it. And I'm sticking to that.
I think you're the perfect judge for mental health court in that respect, then, because you give life to everyone who comes possibly on their worst, darkest day, and they're standing before you with all of their self-shame. And I'm sure you're able to remind them that that shame was put there by them and not you, and you're there to help them. And I love the impact that you're clearly having on the community.
I'm about therapeutic justice, because your worst day should not define your life. There is help. There is a second chance. If you want to work for it in the judiciary, there is second chances. It doesn't define you that you're in a criminal system. It's just that you made a mistake, but you can work your way out of it through these programs we have. And that's what I want the defense attorneys to tell their clients. They're in the judicial system now. They've made a mistake, but they can definitely work their way out of this mistake. It doesn't have to define their life.
All right, wonderful. All right, we do need to wrap it up. Thank you for giving us